City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. This is episode 11. I'm Dylan, and I'm joined by Mila and Grant. Today's episode is recorded on a Monday, so a bunch of breaking news happened today after an already very exciting weekend in the Premier League. So we'll run through all of the stuff with United, do a little recap of the Liverpool-Arsenal game. Obviously, we're going to talk Chelsea, because why not? And then we'll talk City and Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or today, which is an amazing accomplishment. And then we'll play a little game to end it. A very jam-packed schedule. We'll see how long this one goes. But we'll start with the weekend for United. They lose against West Ham, which is ultimately the end of Erik ten Hag's reign. Football's cruel. He managed a game in which they should have won, and they lost. And that was the end of his managerial career at United. The one thing that I want to say about the game, because I honestly don't care anymore about it, with him being sacked, is the product that's being put out by the Premier League right now is awful. Like, too many games are being decided by a referee. And this is more of like a general sports thing, and I hate it, is I don't want to see referees decide games anymore. Look, the guy made a call on the field. It took him forever to make a decision, and then they went and made the wrong decision at the end of it with VAR. And it's like, just, if you're going to make a decision, it better be clear and obvious. And if it's not, then just let it stand. But yeah, that's the only thing I have to say about the loss in general. But yeah, let's just move on to Erik ten Hag is sacked. Probably a little overdue for where United's at, I would say. They are 14th in the league, and they haven't been performing in Europe. And it's
1 week too soon.
Managerial bounce is gonna get you, huh?
They're gonna use it up in the cup.
Fuck yeah! He won United 2 trophies in years where it had been kind of rough. And it sucks because I think when he first came in, I was really excited, and I thought that he was kind of the guy for the job. It seemed like he was. Is a big club, the biggest in the Netherlands, and I thought that he was ready for it. The first season sold me dreams that unfortunately were just never kind of banked on. I think injuries kind of ruined his second season, and then this third season, he was grasping for thin air. It kind of seemed like he was on thin ice the whole time, and whether he had the backing of the players or not, I'm not sure. And they just a mix of poor player performances and then tactical decisions that ultimately ended his career for me at United.
I think Mazraoui in the 10 was.
Yeah.
That might have been it. Like, what are we doing? We spent all this money. And like you said, who spent it is another question. We won't really know the answer to that until people start talking after the fact. But I guess from an outside perspective, it seemed like, and it was something that was said at the time as well, 2020 hindsight, did they beat a hungover Man City team, and did that paint over the cracks, right? There were a lot of injuries that year, but that was a talking point at the time. The new ownership came in, stuck with him, tough decision right off the rip, and they made the wrong decision. I do think we've talked about it before. Some of those signings this summer were definitely more of Ineos wanting to put their name on things instead of asking the manager, what do you want? Yes, they signed some former players of his as well, or Dutch players, Dutch league links. There's still some of those guys coming in, but it's an interesting project. They brought up Amorim. I'm sure we'll get into kind of what direction they might be going into on that front. But I think it's a tough squad to inherit, given, where players are at in their careers. You got guys like Casemiro and Eriksen who've been your better performers, in my opinion, as of late, who are older. Casemiro, you try to get rid of. Eriksen expiring. And then you got young guys like Ahmad, who I don't know what was happening with him ever since he won Player of the Month for your team. But, I think he absolutely gets another run of games and earns his spot. So I do think there's guys like that. But again, we haven't seen enough of it yet. So the squad's at a crossroads. Obviously, you got to bring in a new manager. So it's big. I don't know, Mila, do you have any kind of just quick thoughts on it?
I think when it comes to them bringing in a new manager, it's going to be a lot different from what we've seen before. I think a lot of it like you were talking about, these were Ineos signings. So what they need to do, in my opinion, is not try to bring in a manager that's going to bring in their own style of play or thought of football. They need to bring in a manager that fits the way they want to play, the way that they're going to set up their team in the future, because that's the only way that they're going to keep improving. They have to keep going through managers that keep cycling like this. I think there has to be consistency in the way that they want to play football so that they can build through that in the transfer market. That last summer is the first step to that. They're going to have to keep building. I don't really see what they're trying to build right now. Not saying that it's completely lost. I'm just not seeing the style of football be carved out yet. But that can definitely be done if they bring in whoever they bring in, is what I'm saying. They need to have a style of football that's not going to just last for their tenure. It needs to last years after that, unless they stay there for 10, 15 years. But I think the style of football and the culture at United needs to be solidified for the years to come.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot because whoever inherits the job is coming into a shitstorm, realistically, right? Like anybody who comes into this job is I don't know, the expectation is to succeed, right? And that's the way that United is, but I don't know. And this was kind of my bigger issue with like the whole sacking Ten Hag, not sacking him, is like, who are you going to bring in right now that can do the job and do what people think is the level of United, right? Like that's not an easy job to take on. You don't have the same level of flexibility, and the level of scrutiny is so much higher than any other team. Like they're going to immediately come in, whoever this next person is, and even Rude for the time being, and it's not going to be the same as like a Chelsea, right, where the scrutiny level is like, well, they're trying stuff and the ownership's doing stuff, and it's going to be like they lose a game and the world is collapsing, whether or not there's progression or not. And it's just I just don't know what manager is currently out there, and I know that I don't even know how to pronounce his name yet.
Amarim.
Amarim.
Call him Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben's easier. Even if they bring him in, look, like Sporting is not United, and Portugal is not the Premier League, and so like the adjustment period that he's going to have mid-season, like it could be disastrous. It could be. Now, on the other hand, if they are going to give it a risk and they are going to try it on somebody, clearly he's been pinpoint since the summer, right? As a guy that they've wanted to go get, because I don't think, and with the reporting that's come out, I don't think that there's nothing behind it, right? Like I don't think Ornstein comes out and says that they're like within the closing stages of getting him, and I don't think United goes and sacks Ten Hag for 14 and then releases a manager for 10 if it's not something that could potentially happen within the next week or two. Is it an overreaction? Is it tactical? I'm not sure. And if you were going to make this decision, why didn't you just do it in the summer? Yeah. That's kind of been my thought point this whole time, is like, if you were going to stick with Ten Hag, at least give him till December so that the new guy could come in during an international break and during a window, and maybe there's like a culture change and you build till next season. There's a snowball effect here that I'm not sure about. But on the flip side is, United could turn around their season this year and they can compete for trophies by the end of the season.
That's, I think, the thought process.
It's salvageable 9 games.
You get rid of him now, you're still able to do something. You give the guy a bit of time to meet your guys' team, like get affiliated with the squad. Then you have that January window. You can make a big signing that can change your season around a bit. It's probably what the thought process is.
Yeah, and I think real quick, like when Chelsea sacked Lampard and brought in Tuchel, obviously it's an extreme. That's a crazy, like, best case scenario, but it was a team that was on the downward. They bring in a new coach. They won the Champions League. You know what I mean? So, like, United have not looked good 9 games in. There are a lot more games to go. So I think it had to be done. Like you said, probably should have been done this summer, but it's absolutely salvageable, I guess, is my point.
The talent is there, right? And it's about finding someone who can take the talent that's currently there and put it towards something that can be a winning product on the field. And like I said, I just don't. My biggest concern about this whole thing is if they don't land Ruben, and we're sitting at a point where they sacked a manager, they missed out on the guy that they were supposed to bring in, and then you've got Rude, who was a part of the brain trust in the early part of the season. Is that going to work? Like, can you realistically live the rest of the season with Ruud as the manager if he's like, because he's never done this before.
Yeah,
What type of
no,
scrutiny
yeah,
is
you're
going to be
right.
there? I'm a little concerned. Is my only
You're
thing.
right
Your
But
about
I'm
options
that.
are very rough,
Didn't
in
they
my
bring him
opinion.
yeah.
in? Didn't they bring Ruud in this summer? Right?
Yeah,
That was
the,
an
the
Ineos
whole
play.
the whole the whole coaching staff is new, essentially.
Right. So I think to answer your question, yes, they are prepared to do that. Not saying that's what they want to do. They want to get Amarim based off the reporting we're getting. They want to get clearly somebody in quick, but I think they are prepared to do that only because, like you said, they brought in this whole coaching staff. They brought in a club legend, knowing, okay, if we have to get rid of Ten Hag, like when we brought Lampard in that second time, we were awful. We lost our first six, but it's Lampard. So they're kind of hoping, oh, well, it's a United guy. He's got managerial experience. So whether or not it's the right decision, I do think they're prepared to go a somewhat extended period of time with him in charge.
Yeah, I mean, my last point on kind of the manager
If that's not
stuff is
what
I
you want.
think no, but I'd want
You want something
anything
stable. You
that'll
want something
be
now.
yeah,
You
and
want to build on something, and you can't build on interim.
it kind of feels like the brain trust of Ineos right now is planning for 2 or 3 years in the future, and it feels like this would be a bridge manager for Nagelsmann. That's what it seems like in my head. After the World Cup, see where Germany falls, and then they try to recruit him. But it's United. Can you really be playing for 3 years in the future? That's
So I
so
feel like
strange.
that's kind of.
It's
I
just
think that's
weird.
kind of what we did because Pochettino, like regardless of what we thought about him
But
before
no,
he
yeah,
came in,
bridge.
it was oh he brings in he gets the best out of young players. He'll get them competitive. So he was 100% a bridge target. Potter they thought would be the guy to build on, didn't work. They bring in Poch on a 2-year deal, did his job. Don't want to say that, but then you bring in Maresca on a 5-year deal. So they knew what they were doing with Pochettino being hired. They gave him a 2-year deal. They didn't give him a 5-year deal. So it is interesting to see if they give Amarim a big deal or not. But yeah, I think that Nagelsmann has proven his ability as a manager, I guess, or
He
at least
also
be able to
managed
implement his
Bayern.
style of play. Right,
There's
like a
two
guy
more
that
big
can.
names that we
I,
haven't
I
brought up. It's Xavi.
Xavi, I
Uh,
don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. I think
Man,
it'd be a disaster.
I don't know how we're still talking about Southgate to United. Like, why
I
is that a
no.
thing?
I
I don't.
think that's all
I think
fabricated
that's
because they know they'll get
yeah.
clicks. Yeah, that's not happening.
It is
That's
funny though.
like, it's so crazy.
I think with Xavi, I think obviously there's a way he wants to play the game. United do not have anyone of that level, or I wouldn't even say level, but that way of playing. I think you
Hmm.
can get something out of this squad and get them winning games. Xavi's not going to want to do it that way. He wants to play one way, and United just do not have the personnel to do it. And he's going to England. I remember before he got sacked, he said, "I'm stepping away." So I think he's definitely just staying away from it. I think United would be like just an awful idea for him to even entertain.
I do think Amarim brings, well, he'll bring out the best of
Ugarte,
the like the optional
definitely
managers,
Ugarte.
Yeah,
and just in the way they play it. Like, I think that vertical 3-5 back, whatever, is gonna work way better for United than whatever the hell they were trying to
Yeah,
put
like
out there.
Dallo was like inverting to invert at points. I'm just like, why is he there? And like, yeah, like I never saw anything like structurally that made sense. But like you said, yeah, I think Amarim can absolutely do a job. You guys have the personnel for it. I think the wingers
yeah.
starts to be a bit of an issue, but in terms of the spine and the structure, which has been the issue, it sorts that in theory.
Look, and there was a stat that popped up like a ton this week, and I think it's the most important stat of United's season because it ultimately has been the reason that Ten Hag got sacked. And it's United have created 26 big chances in the Premier League so far, and have missed 22 of them. That's the most in the Premier League, and it's the most missed in the Premier League. It's a failure rate of 85%. So on 85% of the big chances they're creating in games, they're not scoring. Like
That's pretty
that.
bad.
It's horrendous.
That's pretty
And
bad.
it's the
Are you
story of
saying
the
that's on
season.
Ten Hag though? Like,
No,
No. This is on the players.
okay,
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
players
think that
haven't helped them. Players haven't helped them.
this is kind of the story of United for me is like the players have not stepped up to the quality and the money that they've been signed for. And like this is not even like, and I love Bruno. Bruno's been bad. Garnacho has really annoyed me with the amount of chances that he's missed. I know that he creates them, and I know that Ten Hag and all those guys, they're really pulling for him. But every game I watch him miss a big chance where he puts one away and the game is completely different. And it's been tough to watch because it's just not United. United's known for being clinical, having clinical players, and it just has been the opposite of that. And so whatever manager it is, they have to get players to finish and be more clinical. And I thought, look, Ruud van Nistelrooy is like the master of clinical, and he came into the team this year and they've missed more big chances than they did last year. So it's like, to this point. And it's like, so I just don't know what the fix is. Like in my head, if it was 60% Ten Hag, then it was 40% the players, and I think you could argue it to be higher.
Yeah. I guess going off what you're saying, I think they were a team of two halves. Like the West Ham game, they should have been up 4-0 at half, and then they, for better parts of that half, got dominated by West Ham, who looked awful. So, like, the game should have been put away, but it wasn't, and now you're getting just stepped on for the second half. So, like, yeah, I think just consistency in general. Obviously, the big chances missed that was actually heinous. But yeah, I just think it comes down to being able to put a good 90 minutes together, as simple as it sounds. Oh, I'm not getting Dylan on my screen.
No,
He's
Dylan's
frozen
frozen on my screen, yeah.
Dylan. He's going to have to leave and come back. That was a good bar as well. It was decent.
Dude, but I like completely zoned out on what you were saying because I just looked down and Dylan was.
Yeah. I mean,
Internet crashed on me.
Hey,
Internet crashed on me. I have no idea what happened.
We saw you go.
I have no idea what happened. My internet is at full bars. There's literally no reason for it to crash, but it crashed. But I'm back.
It's all right. It's all right. I feel like we got everything off our chests related to the United topic.
Yeah, good. Oh,
it's a metaphor for United.
It's half good and half not so good.
Done out one. That's perfect. Leave the whole thing in, bro. Leave the whole thing in. Well done.
Okay, well, there's not much more to say on United and this thing until we see it, right? See how it unfolds.
See how it unfolds next weekend. That's a good game.
And we'll preview that later this week.
Well, you guys got a game midweek, huh? I was gonna say
we both do. We got Newcastle away. We got Newcastle away. You guys got Leicester.
Leicester, yeah.
Yeah. I peeped the schedule. I wanted to see where the first new manager box comes in. I want to absorb the whole thing. You know what I mean? So, like Leicester should lose to you guys, so like they can eat a little bit of it, and then hopefully, Mr. Maresca has something to work with. He has 90 minutes of film to work with. So
true. Well, I'll let you guys kind of talk about Liverpool and Arsenal. I missed the first 75 minutes of the game, so I don't really know what happened. I'm gonna lean on you guys to tell us about the biggest game of last week.
I was playing a game.
Also gone. So Grant, you're gonna have to take over until the 75th. Okay, so Grant, first half summary. Let's see it.
Arsenal were really good, man. I tapped in. I had a flawless Sunday, honestly flawless weekend results-wise. Everything was going my way, and I was like, all right, Liverpool, cherry on top. Let me see it. Right away, he's in the lineup, and he scores, right away. Within 10 minutes. Was nice. Fantastic goal.
Who got burned?
The guy that got left out of our top 10 left backs. Yep. Robertson was looking his age. He did not have a good day out there. Saka looked really good. I thought they had a different type of attacking impotence before that goal came in, where I was like, oh, they're definitely going for something. Obviously, they had Saka back, not Odegaard, but having one of them back is massive. And then Liverpool scam a set piece off him. It was hilarious. Luis Diaz flicks on the front post. Van Dijk just nods it in. I believe it was Havertz and one other person, but naturally, as soon as I saw it was Havertz, I had to let Facundo know. But they concede a set piece. Just well played by Liverpool. It's 1-1. And that's when I was like, okay, we've got ourselves a game. It's not going to get stunk out like a lot of Arsenal games have been against big teams lately. And then they get their second off of a set piece right at the end of the half. And I think Arsenal were pretty positive for most of the half. They were definitely deserving of the lead. So it was Marino who got it. Really good delivery from Rice. Really good bending ball. And then halftime, Arsenal are up 2-1. And I'm thinking, okay, they were definitely the better side. They deserved this result. I thought 2-1 was pretty fair. If anything, it could have been 2-0 for Arsenal. They didn't do anything in the second half for me relative to what they were doing in the first half. It changed. I saw a stat that was, and again, stats aren't everything, but it was from the time Marino scored until the equalizer or XG were created by Arsenal, and it felt that way just from watching the game. Obviously, I'm biased, so I could be a little wrong here, but I do think that they didn't really go for it and they're not beating those allegations. And you can't do that with a team like Liverpool. I kind of think of it, I'm a big UFC guy. If you're in there with someone and you can put them away, do not coast for a decision because it's a dangerous opponent and they can knock you out at any time. Liverpool get an equalizer. It didn't take much. I don't think Trent had one of his better days. I think he's really good. I would hold him to a higher standard. It only takes one from him. He plays in a really good ball in behind. Darwin, who ran his ass off that game, gets on it. Good cutback to Salah. He's not missing that. That's all it took. And that's kind of my whole thing with Liverpool. I know they got guys on expiring contracts and, that's up in the air, new coach. They have guys like that, like Trent, like Salah. I think Van Dijk, Konate was probably my man in the match for them. Konate was very good, kind of bullied their attackers for me. And yeah, I think 2-2 is a fair result. I would have liked to see Arsenal go for it a little more before that second goal came in. We were talking some shit, saying they don't go for it, all that good stuff, and they didn't after getting that lead. So it was a really good first half. I enjoyed watching it.
Well, I think with them, what they do a lot of the time is what I've noticed is that first half that they play, most games, really good, really nice. And then as the game gets a little later, it starts to slowly shift into that defensive shape. Probably just legs and the way that the personnel that they're putting out. But I don't see what is fixable right now to get that going. And I know we talked about it pretty depth.
It's their best path to victory.
Last one.
Given what they have, given the squad that they've constructed. I just think with the squad they constructed, these signings were intentional. What they did, the profiles of players they signed, your best bet in a close game is going to be keep the defensive shape. We have very good defensive players that can play in that type of structure. So that's their best path to victory. That's what they're doing right now. That's the way I see it.
You got to take some luck with it too, though, and they're not getting lucky.
I agree. I just think that's what there doing.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I don't know what else
I'm not counter arguing you. I'm saying, like, to your point, they do have that when their players are on the pitch. You're gonna rush guys back, or you're gonna say that they're injured, whatever. They just had 2 more injuries to the defense. Gabriel being one of them. I think we talked about it last episode that Gabriel's bound to get hurt. So it happened. We don't know how long he's out. They're getting Saliba back. That's 1 back in. So they'll probably be Saliba and Ben White.
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool are missing the best goalie in the world. You know what I mean? It's not like they're not dealing with any injury problems themselves. I do think it got a little overblown, but it only gets overblown, the injury issue, because, well, I mean, their guys come back quick, but I think another part of it is, and I know we talked about it before the season even started, one injury can completely ruin their team because of the lack of depth in the squad building. Like we've beaten a hammer on the nail with that, but I think that's what makes it so overblown. When you miss 1 or 2 guys, the whole city falls.
Yeah, but like staying on this game, I do think that the Alisson injury doesn't really play a big part. To the point that Arsenal aren't really attacking like that. It doesn't play a big factor in the game at all.
Yeah, 100%.
To what you were saying earlier, the fact that their players are so explosive, they don't even need to be playing a good game. It could be just one little flip of a switch, and then they score 2 goals. Like, they've done it against every team in the Premier League. I've seen it. So I don't know. They played it weird for me in the second half, like you were saying. I didn't see any desire to get another one.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
I think that timidness probably bit them in the butt. Yeah. Overall, though, I'm happy. I think that's a great performance. Yeah. Great outcome for my team. They both dropped points. I could call them both frauds. Neither of them got a win. No, but I don't know. Arsenal were more in the driving seat for this one. I think they did well to stay with the draw against us. In that game, they totally should have walked away with 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's probably going to come down to at the end of the season. There's always something. They're going to want to blame it on something else. You got to walk away with the points. So, I don't know. if they're gonna do this against the big teams in the league this year, like they got Chelsea
Yeah,
coming up,
we're not sitting back on shit. Foot is on the
yep,
gas for 90
could
minutes.
be interesting. And like we
Title,
talked
I
about,
don't
it's
know.
hard to sit back that long. You can't sit back like you're either gonna
Against
get
anyone.
hurt, you're gonna make a mistake. No, it's in football. You can't do that.
Hey, we forgot to talk about the marginal refereeing decisions in the Arsenal game, guys. We need to
I don't care.
we need to
I'm
spend
not
that.
talking about the
The
refs
was not
anymore.
decided. This is the first big game where a game was not decided by any refereeing, which is awesome. It was the first game where I wasn't
They
like,
won't.
oh wow, the ref. I care what Arsenal fans want. I just mean like I
Yeah, that's
wasn't
not what
like
Facundo was telling me.
did this and that. Look, dude,
Yeah,
no.
Van Dijk should have been sent off for what he did to Havertz. Someone told me that. What do we do?
He should have been
Should
reprimanded
have.
for that. It was a little out of
No,
pocket.
sent
Yeah,
off.
no.
Sent
I've
off.
seen. That's the thing is like it's been so weird with the refs. Like he could have been. VAR could have been like, oh fuck yeah, that's great. But in a
Yeah.
big
He
game,
had
they
a mini
decided
temper
not to.
tantrum. To be fair, I
If
could
anyone
totally
deserved
see
it,
him getting sent off.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree with that. But this is a part of that point I was making. It's just been inconsistent. But I don't want to like the refereeing in this one wasn't like anything for me to go
heinous.
back and forth on. What I will
Yeah.
say is this: is title challengers and title winners do not drop points at home 2-1 at half. They just don't do that. Arsenal did that, and it's just been like one thing after another with Arsenal that have just proven that they don't have the championship pedigree. Liverpool showed in that game that they have more championship pedigree and they can go and compete at a higher level to me than Arsenal did, because going on the road to a hostile environment and picking up a point when maybe they shouldn't have was way more impressive to me. You said Arsenal dominated a majority of the game, and then I when I finally clicked back in, it was all Liverpool.
Yeah.
All Liverpool.
It was their second half. They took control of the second half.
You said tale of two halves, and challengers don't have that. Arsenal is too reliant on their stars. Live and die with Saka, and if he's not, look, he had a great game, but he was starting to fade because he's
really
hurt,
good.
and
Really
that
good.
changed the game. And them not having Odegaard, at this point, I just don't know when he's coming back. We just have to assume he's not. Now they're going to be down more guys. I don't really see an outlet for them anymore. And unless
Timber's
Odegaard
out,
comes back,
right?
I'm just.
I think he came off.
Point now, I forgot it, but
No.
it's just.
Gabriel might be out. That was
Who's
it.
playing for them?
It's.
Then? There's gonna be Zinchenko, Saliba,
He
White,
does
and
not trust
Partey,
Zinchenko because he brought
or
on
Tomiyasu.
he brought on Lewis Skelly at left back
They're gonna put
before
Lewis Skelly
Zinchenko.
at left back.
Well, they brought him on
Remember
over
my point.
Zinchenko. And I got
Arsenal only kind of started to gain some control back towards the end of the game when they subbed on Jesus. The only attacking player that came on and was taking on a guy, was physical, and was trying to compete. There's a timidness and a lack of aggression towards the attackers in the front line because it's Havertz and it's
starts up
Trossard.
top.
I thought that he changed the game for them a little bit. He kind of built something for him, but it's not going to be able to play every week. Like I just gotta get a striker. They got to get somebody who can beat someone one-on-one. If Jesus is the short-term option for them, they need to play him. I don't care if he gets hurt. Like you got to give it a shot. You got to give him 90s until he can, or at least 75s, because they just don't have enough going forward for him. Without like if Saka is not at 100%, you got to give him some type of relief on the other side of the field, which Martinelli actually wasn't awful, but
Yeah.
He actually was one of their better players last game.
I just think Konate was so good in that game, he didn't let him have anything. But Martinelli was definitely positive in that game.
Or maybe it's like
fair,
a
they put up 2 goals against Liverpool's defense.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how many goals like they've conceded goals.
The mighty Chats only got one.
Like I don't think we can necessarily shit on their performance. I do think they could have done more to get more out of it.
I was the Arsenal fan, I would have been very disappointed. I guess is where I would have stood.
You're saying you're holding a title contender to title contender standards.
Yeah, but
you're holding him to high standards. That's what he's saying.
We'll give Arteta credit. Like this is a makeshift lineup, and he kind of made something happen. Which fair, kudos, man. But like, go up 2-1 at half. Like you got to come away with 3. That's kind of the underlying thing for me. You got to come away with 3 at home, because you don't on the road. You're not winning. I probably Liverpool comes away with the win there. Yeah.
On from those fucking losers. Chelsea game. Either of you guys watch this one? No, United was going on at the same time.
Had it like
Oh
the
yeah, you
background. I saw some of it.
kind of had it.
Well, most of
Yeah,
the second half.
yeah. I liked it. I think obviously I do think we deserve to win the game. First, like in terms of performance, all that stuff. But I like that it was a competitive game throughout the whole 90 minutes. We've had some games this year where we kind of ran away with it at certain points or have been in total control and it wasn't really threatening. So I think being able to hold on to a lead is something, again, these are basics when it comes to a team that wants to be serious, but those are things we didn't really see last year. I also think before I kind of get into like the performance itself, like it was 1-1 at half and we scored within 90 seconds going the second half. Last year, second half, I think I sent you guys once, like the second half table, we were 18th at one point. Just the second half. Like we're just so awful. So like to be able to come out and immediately, I think we've done it a few times now this season. We're right away for about 5 minutes, even into a half goal, and to hold on to that for another 45 minutes. I was almost certain there was another goal in the game, but to be able to hold on to a 2-1, absolutely beautiful. In terms of lineup performance, all that stuff. Robert Sanchez, the sooner he's not the starting goalie, the sooner you can start actually putting Chelsea into these title conversations. I still think that's premature for this season, but it starts there for me. He was instructed to play it long, I guess, but it was just an awful watch. Even when good goalies play it long, people love making fun of him. Onana, I think, is one of the best in the world when it comes to playing the ball long. It's usually in the vicinity of somebody, give or take. Sanchez, it was awful. Um, I just don't think he was good. The back line looked sound. Reece James played left back, which was interesting. Thought that was an interesting one. Pushed Palmer into the left hand side, and then Gusto played right back and went up on the right hand side as a 10 to occupy that space with Madueke. I thought it was interesting, but Reece was fantastic defensively, multiple clearances, even towards the end. Cross comes in, heroic header to get it out, like a captain's performance. And he was questioned midweek by the manager, saying we need leaders, and he put on a captain's performance on the field. He's always been more of a reserved guy, but you're the fucking captain, you know what I mean? That was the message. Be the captain. So I think he absolutely answered the call. I think Colwell looked good, Fofana looked good. Gusto look. I think the midfield's a bigger talking point. I think obviously same old thing. Enzo didn't start. I think Lavia and Caicedo looked really good. I think Enzo's a really good player. I also think he's not getting into the team right now. If these two are fit,
Same
like
old
it doesn't.
shit,
I still
different
think
day.
it doesn't mean I don't highly rate him. I do highly rate him. I just think when you watch these two play, and it's again, what I will say for Enzo, he's not getting the opportunity to play in the pivot. He is being pushed up as a 10 in possession. He came on as a sub again. Lavia came off like 70. Enzo looked good there. We kind of wanted to control the game. Lavia, I think, is really good on the ball. Enzo's a little better for me, and we kind of controlled the game. But again, when it comes to starting, it's those two for me right now. Caicedo, just monster in the middle. He's so good. He's so good. I don't even have words for him at this point. He doesn't put a foot wrong at this point. He's unbelievable. I think Lavia, we haven't seen that much from him, but from what we've seen, fantastic. Madueke is definitely our most quiet one. Neto comes in for Sancho, who didn't start against Liverpool. Neto looked really good.
It looked really good.
Oh, no, sorry, Sancho did start against Liverpool. We got hooked at halftime. Neto came in.
For
Neto looked
Neto.
really good. Neto looked really good. Again, not his preferred side, but from what I've seen, very two-footed with his deliveries. His deliveries are definitely the strong suit, not as much the shooting. Haven't seen as much. But the delivery on that pass to Jackson across, I mean, obviously the ball from Palmer. I don't need to talk about Palmer. You guys understand how
No, you
highly I rate
do.
him.
That pass was ridiculous.
But I
That was
don't even.
ridiculous.
I've been saying, bro, he's best in the league.
That
Best
has
in the
nothing
league.
to do with this. You can give him props for
Yeah,
the
but
pass.
I felt like
that
him
plays.
best in the league.
I don't have anything else to say about him. It's unreal. But Neto again, he adds something different on that side. He
In
wants
this
to get in
sense,
behind,
yes, that's what I want to talk
and he
about
adds
is
something
his
different.
ability to get in behind like that.
Jackson was obviously he got a goal. His hold-up play that game was absurd. The amount of times he's receiving the ball, just immediately turning people, finding the space, finding the pass. Palmer's had that goal disallowed, very marginal offside. But it was Jackson dropping deep, switching spots with Palmer, holding off his center back, turn, finds the pass. He did it multiple times. He was just spinning Shar and Burn when they're trying to come mark him when he drops deep. Unreal. I'm so grateful we didn't sign Victor Osimhen because this boy's a star. He should be playing every week. I don't want to hear any chat about any striker. That's the guy. I'm all for bringing in depth. I think Nkunku is super unlucky to not get playing time really in the league. I think he's top, but he's that good to me. And if he keeps putting chances away, conversations will be had. And then we got Newcastle midweek. We got United. New
Not
manager
worried about
bounced,
that
sadly.
stinky fucking tournament.
I,
That
I
joke
want to.
team.
We need a trophy, fam. We haven't won one in a few years, and I think this group of players needs to understand what it feels like and what it took to win. I think that Carabao Cup last year was a fucking disgrace in terms of the performance. I thought it was genuinely embarrassing. Like Liverpool bring on 5, 6 kids, and then Poch parks the bus. That was embarrassing. So they need to remember what that feels like, and they got to win something, whether it's a Conference League, Carabao Cup. They got to lift up something. This group of players needs to lift something up just to get the ball rolling. So yeah, I think we got to take all these competitions seriously, whether or not we rotate 11 guys like we do in the Conference League. It doesn't matter.
You guys
need
have the
to do
the
something.
leeway to do that.
100%,
You can
100%.
totally have a
It needs to be a competitive
starting
lineup.
11 that
I
is
agree.
competitive.
I
Exactly.
agree. You can throw Sancho and Mudryk on the wings, rest Madueke and Neto. You know what I mean? Putting Cuckoo and Felix in. Like, they can absolutely rest, but take this shit serious. And the manager said, like, regardless of the players in there, it needs to be the same idea on the field. And that's what we've been seeing, and it needs to stay that way. It needs to stay that way. I love the track we're on, but it has to stay. It's been early days. I'm getting excited, but this can easily go off the track. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much in this sport.
I want to bring up a point and then ask you a question because I'm curious to the nature of it. One thing I did notice, and it may have been when Enzo came in or before that, but he seems to seemed to get caught out. Yeah, susceptible. Thank you. Jeez, I couldn't get the word out.
You're good.
On the counter, seems that when there's a quick turnover in play, faster, stronger athlete can kind of overpower the backline a little bit. And I mean, result could have been 2-2 if Isaac just opens up he just literally looks up and notices he's
absolutely could have squared it for 2-2.
So like obviously a young team that's gonna become something you gotta work through, and most people don't have that out right away. The first question is what do you think that process looks like in terms of like how do you fix that? How do you teach that? Is that like just going to happen because of the nature of the way that the game's being played by Chelsea? Like, are you just going to be open to those chances because the game can get open in certain situations? Or like, I mean, you guys were up 2-1 at the time. Like, should you guys have kind of closed up shop and seen the game out a little easier?
Yeah, no, I think to answer the question, it comes down to a little bit of both, where you said this is kind of how the game's played. I think if you look at Man City, who we regard as the best team in the world, which I think is a fair take, they get caught on the counter. They're susceptible to the counter. That's how we put 4 across them last year with that awful team we had, because we somehow, our coach that year figured out how to exploit something. So the way we do set up, yes, we are susceptible to the counter. And I think the best way to go about it in terms of solving it, I think when I talk about consistency and like how Chelsea need to stay on this path, all that kind of starts with your back line. I think he's almost made it a point of emphasis where he wants Colwill Fofana to be that pairing, and they need to keep playing together. I think they started off, even the first few games, obviously we lost to City, we won some, we drew some. They definitely looked a bit shaky. I think Colwill's already kind of growing into himself this season. He's gaining more confidence, starting to be that player that we all talked about and heard about. He's starting to show it, and I think it just comes with time. Fofana missed an entire year off an ACL, had another scare over the weekend, but it comes with time. It comes with consistency. They need to keep playing together. I think it was difficult even last year. You're switching guys in and out all the time, like Sassy, Silva, Colwill, Batty, just all these different guys coming in and out. Like the more they play together, Colwill might go, oh, sometimes he forgets that. Like you just pick up on things. You know how he defends, and you can pick up for him. But when it's chopped and changed every week, it's harder to build that defensively. I think offensively, it all comes down to like matchup and how you want to attack a team, depending on how they set up. But defensively, you kind of want consistency there. So I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, we're absolutely susceptible to it. But the craziest thing is, we were infinitely more susceptible to it last year. We're definitely set up better than we were last year in terms of right when we lose the ball. the counter press, all that stuff. We're set up well. We're starting to be able to pin teams in. We're not taking advantage of it yet, but there were periods in this game even where 5, 10, 15 minutes even, that might be a stretch, but they're pinned in. We keep winning the ball back. They can't get it out. It looks good. So I think it just comes down to consistently doing that and consistently getting used to doing it, and defensively having kind of the same guys there to understand, be able to sweep up. But yeah,
I mean, hey, look, I'm starting to get to the point where I think we're gonna have to stop bringing up last year because this team is just fundamentally different, and the
yeah,
comparing it doesn't even. I think that you guys are way
doesn't
above
do it
and way
justice.
past expectations, and that I think it's just time to consider this team as a Champions League level contender, and we should be setting the bar a little higher.
I agree.
The last point that I want to
Uh-huh.
bring up about the wingers is Neto looks really good in the system. I think as a change of pace and push on, I think he played on the left,
He played on
right?
the left. Yep.
I thought
Madueke
he looked
started.
really good. And then the second thing that I wanted to bring up, because I'm curious, Madueke's got 1 goal in the last 8 Premier League matches.
Yeah.
How much time is he going to have when Nkunku and all these guys are scoring in midweek? I know it's against lesser opponents, but
Yeah.
they're eventually going to be a tactical switch to get more output out of the right wing because ever since he scored the hat trick, it's been he's not
He
putting
got
in
one
bad
goal against
shifts.
Forest. Yeah.
He's not putting in bad shifts, but obviously
No output.
you don't want the shot chart to be looking like
What it's looking like.
it's currently.
For sure.
Can Nkunku come in and, like we were saying, like Neto, he's great at facilitating and getting assists. Like, is Nkunku just the better? Could he potentially work on the right side? There's just
Yeah.
so many.
It's
There's such
weird.
a plethora
Yeah.
of
Lots of
options.
questions.
So
Yep. Yeah.
all good ones, and
Yeah.
he's like I
Yeah.
said, not performing bad. But how
Right.
fast is the switch going to be? Because this is the only big question that I've had about Chelsea the whole time with buying all the guys is like
How do they
happens when a
map?
player is starting to not perform, and how quickly does the manager switch him out? And Sancho was pretty quick. Wick had a bunch of extra time, so it'll be obviously player to player. It's different, and
For sure.
development wise, I'm curious. I'm a question we'll have to wait to see, but
It's a good question. I think something different with Madueke this year, other than being able to put away those chances. Obviously, only 4 now, given what we've seen lately. But his defensive work has been infinitely better. He's consistently tracking back. He's helping his fullback, and especially when one of your fullbacks is literally in midfield, you need that. So he's been very good defensively, and the manager talks about all that, loving the defensive side of the ball from the attackers. So I think that's given him some extra leeway. And also the mentality, he's continuously going at defenders. He is still beating defenders. He's getting his shots off, not to the extent he was when he was in better form earlier in the year. But he's still having a good game. I wouldn't say he had a bad game by any stretch, but like you said, Palmer had a really good game. Jackson had a really good game. They all had a goal contribution, and he didn't. The standards are getting higher, which is what we need. But I think Neto's naturally he's going to want to play on the right. So I wouldn't be surprised next game. Well, maybe next game because Sancho can't play, so he won't throw him back in the lineup. But I was saying you go Neto on the right, maybe Nkunku on the left, and then you put one of the fullbacks wide on the left side. Because something with Maresca, he's a lot more flexible tactically than I thought he'd be. I mean, the way
that
he's Gusto
was our
and
biggest
James going
concern,
back and
wasn't it?
forth. Right, like he's just going to invert one of them. He's just going to invert one no matter what. No, but he's pushing them up as tens. He doesn't want him in the pivot because Gusto. I think we've seen enough. I'd rather have him going forward than sitting in the pivot. Right,
He played on the
giving him
left side
personal.
today, didn't he?
Yeah, left side is center back.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Left
That's
center back, and he was really
love it.
good.
That's
And he
great.
put him in shift. So,
Just-
like you said, the next game, the front four could be Palmer, Neto, and Kunku Jackson. João Felix has been hard done by. He's been doing really well in the opportunities he gets midweek. Again, lesser competition. He's been really good in those competitions. He's not even getting time off the bench. He's not playing at all. So it's tough, but these guys are fighting for their position. You could tell by the way they're playing. So I'm a fan of it, but like you said, maybe it does get dicey later on.
It's a great problem to have, and I'm super interested to see how it plays out. But let's switch gears. Let's talk about City. 1-0 against Southampton.
Yes.
Control. I ask Mila. I want to ask you a specific question. Very different lineup than we've seen like the early part of the season, right? Foden's in the middle. They put Nunes
I'm gonna go
out
bring
on the
it
wing
up real quick. Yeah,
because it's such a different style, and I haven't really seen that from Pep. But Nunes in particular, like I was surprised. He's been playing great, and I think Grant alluded to him playing good last week. And so, what did you think of rotation, and what did you think about the game this weekend? I know you were somewhat frustrated. Oh.
Frustrated, yes. I want to start with Holland. Another ridiculous finish.
Yep.
Unorthodox finish. He's falling backwards and he just
Zlatan
smashes
playbook.
it into the ground. He can't do it. Wow, I'm blanking on his name. The goalkeeper.
Or something. Ramsdale, bro.
Yeah,
That's so
Ramsdale.
disrespectful, bro. That is so disrespectful.
Really
I
funny.
had his face. It's all good. Anyways, yeah, he couldn't really do anything about that one.
No.
I did think there were other chances that Holland could put away. There was one kind of out in front. He kind of just hits it wrong, goes wide. Happens. Headers, kind of right back at Ramsdale. Happens. I wish he was a little better at headers. In terms of Nunes, like you were asking about, he's been really good. And Pep's made a point to talk about it. The big difference for him is that he's actually getting minutes now. It's not where I think anyone thought he would be playing. Like you were saying, Dill, the left wing is probably the last position in what I thought he could play for us that he would be playing at. I thought he'd be more centrally, but the thing is, he's doing the things he would do centrally at the left wing position while also being freaking rapid. He's one of our faster players. He doesn't look or seem like he would be, but he's quick. He's super quick. So if he's going to do everything that he would do in the midfield, but with less pressure out at the left wing, and he's going to use his speed and he's going to come back with a vengeance and track back, I really don't see why he won't take more minutes. That just makes it way harder for everyone else, though, because we got Grealish, we got Doku, obviously Savio, who's been on the right side really good, but Bob's going to come back. There's going to be a lot of competition in these positions. I don't think anyone saw Nunes being one of the names competing for a starting spot, but we certainly need the attributes he's bringing to our team right now.
He thought that maybe outside of Savia, the best player for City was Foden. I thought this was a really important Foden game, right? Like we've been talking about, City complaining about their offense and their defense and their second goals conceded and first in goals scored, but to City standard, there's been some kind of link up and some attributes missing, and I thought that this was Foden's best game back since really, even including the Euros. This may have been his best game few months. He looked really good. He looked sharp. Important as it comes for City, getting guys back into shape. And kudos to Pep because he's survived kind of the storm and what KDB's back in training and just do what champions do. But do you want to talk about Foden at all? And you saw?
I didn't really see, I thought he played well, but nothing stood out to me in terms of Foden's game. It was just a good game from him, which I'm totally fine with. He kind of just needed that. It's been too polarizing. We've been expecting too much out of him. He gets his assist. Wait, was that this game? Did he get the assist this game?
Last Nunes game. Did.
Last game. Yeah. He got the assist last game. And he just played well. I do think he'll be a good point going forward with the set pieces, corners specifically. It does seem like we're making an effort. I did see a Kanji quote say that they acknowledged that we were not efficient enough last year on set pieces. So they're clearly making an effort to get more. John Stones is probably going to be a big role in that. He seems to be able to just hawk them down when the ball's coming in. Yeah, I'm excited to see that going forward. I do think Foden, delivery-wise on set pieces, as well as De Bruyne, are going to be really important. Once Foden gets going, though, just in the overall gameplay, I think we'll be a lot better than we are right now. Haaland will probably get more chances. A lot of that goal-scoring pressure will be taken off him. I think Foden will definitely start bringing the goals at some point in this season.
Look, he created 5
chances. I can't believe Arteta's got us talking about fucking set pieces like this, man. So tough.
Care about set
They're an important
pieces.
aspect of the
game. I know. But this is his fault. I just have to put that out there.
I mean, yes and no. when you're a
That's
team like City and you get as many corner kicks as you do and
I
you don't
agree.
convert any of them, it's really a big problem.
I'll back off.
The German team that won the World Cup, there's a book that came out about the team, and part of a big portion of the book is them talking about set pieces and how when they were in games and they didn't really have like a nature to them, like in open play, they just knew they could get on the ball, get on a set piece, and score a goal. They
Man,
won a
I'm just
World
trying to
Cup.
push
It's
agendas over
important.
here, guys. Damn. You got me.
Why are you pushing agendas
You're
against
not
teams
wrong.
that aren't going to win anything?
Well played. Well played.
Hog, 2 trophies. Teta, same time
One
span.
COVID FA Cup.
So
No.
I already know who the better manager is. Oh.
One COVID FA Cup.
Do you have any closing thoughts on City and anything else like that?
Boring
Break
game.
my-
Yeah.
I thought I broke my
Southampton?
chair. Sorry.
No.
Got spooked.
I'm gonna break.
1-0 game. Should have been way more with the way we did really well to create the chances this game, and I think that's something we haven't really been doing all season. We've just been kind of pulling goals out of a hat. This game,
The
we
Holland
looked like
hat.
we could create. Not even the defender's hat.
Well, just in general.
Yeah, just it's like Holland was on a goal drought the past couple games, anyways.
Yeah, it's in
He was a
most of the
non-factor.
year before that.
Yeah, but I think today or last game against Southampton, we actually looked like we were creating chances, and the finishing was gone. It'll all come together. I'm not worried about it. This is still early season for us. That's the big thing is like we complain as City fans about our performance, but that's just because we know the team can only bring it up higher than what it is right now. Like there's expectations and standards. Yeah, the fucking standards. Yeah, I don't know. I do know. We will be.
They're usually not even. They're not even top of the league right now. Usually, so like that alone, like when you're still working the kinks out,
We're in
when
good
you're at the
position
top,
right now.
Yeah,
I've
you're
talked
sort
about
of.
it before. We like to chase. Would not be surprised if we drop some points. At the moment, we're undefeated.
Yeah.
So we're coming
you've
for your
only got-
chain.
You've only got one more year at the top, pal.
That's just not true.
Yeah, probably.
The amazingness of Pep is figuring out how to play without your star players. I think is a good segue to end of the day, robbing Vinicius Jr.
Robbing.
Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. I think I'll let you have a moment
Give him the stage.
to bask in his glory.
Let us know when we're allowed to talk again. This is all
I was in the gym watching it, thankfully by myself, because I still wasn't sure up until like it was actually announced that he was winning it. I don't believe anything online anymore. So anyway, I screamed really loud, and I was just like, yes. It's cool for Rodri, but I think it's huge for City as a club. 10 years ago, I couldn't have told you that we were ever going to have a Ballon d'Or winner. Not fathomable. So this was just cool. I don't want to talk about all the bullshit that's been talked about today. I think it's disrespectful. This guy fucking worked so hard. He had one of the most successful 2 years of football that we've ever seen in the sport. And there was a really good player in Vinny that just didn't win it at the end of the day. I don't think there was any robbing, any freaking racism that comes into play with this. So I just want to say congrats to Rodri and big up to Cité because this is a big day for us.
Yeah, I think it's just been unfair because he hasn't been playing, so now you're just seeing some kind of outlandish takes to me.
It's ridiculous.
I think I saw something like in the last 95 games, he's lost 4. I believe it. Like he bosses games.
He lost 6 out of 100.
Yeah, he absolutely bosses games. And I think everyone that watched City all of last year and even the year before, he was the main. It revolved around him. He made it happen, and so now once he's out, he's getting punished for City still being good right now. Oh yeah, all he does is take the ball off the center backs and pass it forward to Foden and De Bruyne, and that's to take all that he does and say he just takes the ball off center backs.
It's
super
ridiculous.
disingenuous.
You just have to look at his gene.
Because he's not playing. Yeah, but not only that, because he's not playing, so let's say all that chat's going on this week. If he plays on Saturday or Sunday, whenever you guys play, they'll watch the game and go, oh, that's why he won the award. But because he's not going to play for an entire year, people are just going to keep getting off these takes.
Well, that's
They're going to
also
keep
the
trying to
thing.
get away with it. It's disrespectful. And like you said, if we're talking robbery, like I think in sports in general, we throw around robbery a lot. That's absolutely not a robbery. I think Vinny's a very good player. Neymar never won a Ballon d'Or, if we want to start there. But like we can do this all day in terms of robbery. We can argue Haaland got robbed when he won a treble, right? There's all these arguments. There's better case for that than this year for me. If we want to say robbery, I'm not saying either are. But if we want to say robbery, I think Haaland has a better case than Vinny does. Haaland went there, he congratulated the winner, and he moved on with his life. He'll probably get one at some point in his career because he understands he's that level. So I think the way Madrid handled it, I don't know whether it was Vinny's call or Madrid's call. Ridiculous. What are you doing? You won Team of the Year. Your coach wins Coach of the Year. 2, 3, and 4 are Real Madrid players.
Not to mention that your superstar signing also tied for the Golden Boot of the year, basically, whatever.
It's just disrespectful.
It's super disrespectful,
and it's honestly disrespectful to Bellingham because they threw him away like Andy in Toy Story. Like when he threw away Woody, that's what they did to him.
Fuck.
Do you see Ancelotti's tweet? Like, and most importantly, above all, Vinny and Carvajal, bro. They said, "Oh, we're done with you." That's crazy. I think that's kind of disrespectful to Bellingham, and obviously we got our Bellingham takes. He didn't deserve that. He's given everything for them. So I just think it paints Madrid in a bad light, and especially after the 4-0 they held. I don't know. It's a bad look, and they're acting like children. They're acting like I would have as an 8-year-old. It's just a bad look.
8-year-old.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing, but I'll speak. I'm going to speak to the nature of Roger, right? Like coming as a United fan, like I think anybody that's a rival good is a tough thing to do, and he might be the most class player in the world, a pinnacle of consistency in week out. I mean, for this injury in Ironman, dude, 50 games a year. In context matters in this stuff. It always has.
Honestly, I think he was playing like 65 or something.
Scoring goals.
Sorry, just for City. I did not include the international stuff. Sorry. Yeah. But to the point of this, right? Like that context matters in the eyes of voters, and it should matter in this case. He was the best player on planet Earth for an entire calendar year, from the start with City all the way through as the best player in the Euros. And Spain won. So City won a historic Premier League title. It's something that a team has never done. History of the Premier League is considered probably it's not one, it's 1B of best leagues in the world. And then he went at the Euro stage, which trophies in Europe, guys, like that matters. And he was the best player, and unfortunately got hurt in the final. But he was the best player of the entire tournament.
Yeah.
That stuff matters, and he's an incredible player. For a defensive midfielder to ever win this award is something that shouldn't be taken lightly, because I don't know if it'll ever happen again.
That's what needs to be highlighted. That's the big,
I don't think
bold letters.
It'll never happen
this
again.
This
man plays the six.
He played center back in the World Cup. That's even fucking crazier. Yeah. This was his first time in a major tournament playing his position. And he won the Euros. And people were saying he missed the final. He got injured in the final. He won the player of the tournament. Stop
is right.
Mila, we saw Vinny live. Oh, no, we didn't. He was suspended that game.
No, that's my point. Though. He was suspended. And it wasn't that he was suspended for some bullshit. Like, he totally earned that suspension. So, like, if we want to bring I don't want to really talk about this.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. But if we want to bring in the international stuff, this guy is a no-show for his fucking country.
The Brazilians want him benched.
And better without him.
He's scored 5 goals for his country.
Mudryk's
on 3. Mudryk's on 3. Yeah, I'm not a big stat guy, but like again, if we're arguing it as if he broke Messi's 91 goal record, and
that's the thing. If he put up 40 goals, whatever, 5 less than what Haaland put up the year before, sure, robbery, whatever. He had crazy. 11, 12 more goals and assists than a 6. A defensive midfielder? That's ridiculous.
Rodri's a 6 that plays like a box-to-box. He plays as a box-to-box, but he's a 6. So he has the defensive responsibilities of a 6 who can just walk up and whack one. Like, I
With
don't
a
know,
clutch
when he did it
gene.
in the
Major
Champions League
clutch
final
gene.
thing. Like,
Exactly.
what are we? Obviously, that doesn't go towards the Ballon d'Or, but
No, it doesn't. But
just in general,
yeah.
it's not like he doesn't score goals either. If that's what we really needed was output from a DM, he did that too, and he didn't need that for me. If he had 5 or 10 GA, but he was still having those performances that he was having, maybe he doesn't win it. But for me, he would have still been in the conversation. That's how good he was. That's how impactful he was. And let's not forget, right when he got hurt, we were talking like, how are they going to do it? Like, obviously, City find a way. We always say that, but like, we didn't come up with any solution. That's a big
No, it
fucking
was
problem, and
hope
it
and pray
still is
that
a problem.
Kova and
And it
Gundo
still
figure it
is a
out.
problem, and
Yeah,
it
it
still
is.
is an issue. So I just hate it's so disrespectful, and especially because he's not playing. If he were playing, we'd be done with the conversation by Monday because he would have had a really good game on the weekend. But you just have to endure the conversation. But again, like you said, it really doesn't matter. He won the award. I think he
Take
deserved
it.
the award. Congrats. I mean, especially for your team too. Like, to be able to say you have a Ballon d'Or at the team, like, that's massive. Like, celebrations. Yeah, it's crazy. It's disrespectful, but I'm happy for the guy.
He's the most
Totally
valuable
deserve it.
player on City. He's the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Wait, how
Yep.
many was it? One loss with him in the side? Sure.
Last year?
Like when he was, or what? Sorry, I'm not getting that stat right. Didn't play. How many wins did they have?
Yeah. The first one he
One?
lost was
I
against
don't
Ten
know.
Hag. The first one he
Wait,
lost
no,
was
no,
against
no.
Ten Hag, I believe.
It wasn't like we lost every game that he didn't play. It was just
No,
most of the
no.
games we lost.
The only game you lost when he did play, I'm saying, was the cup final.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just talk
It's
about
crazy.
Rolls Royce type of player. Just like he so appealing on the ball, and people like to get all worked up because he's not got GA. Like, dude, like
He did, and he fucking did.
he did.
That's the funniest part. He said, "Yeah, fuck it, I will do it."
Yeah, an amazing year for him, and a huge congratulations to him because, like Mila said, it's big. It's big for City. I think it's bigger for football as a whole.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna see it again.
Game is
I think
not
we're
going on.
gonna see a
It's going to
6
be
win it
hard.
again. I
Have you
just
been
don't
watching
see
They
it.
would have
Caicedo
to be
lately?
ridiculous. They would
You've been
have to
watching
be
Caicedo
ridiculous.
lately?
The thing is, you can say that it could be totally true. It could be the best six in the world, but there's going to be guys like Yamal that are just starting
Never
to
gonna
hit
happen
their
again.
peak. In 8 years, he's going to be at his peak. They're starting to go into his peak. That's
He's
ridiculous.
already so good, bro. What are we doing?
Like,
What
this
are we
guy
doing?
is going to win so many Ballon d'Ors.
He's
It's
a
going to be
minor.
ridiculous.
He's a child. He's 17 years
So
old, and he's
I
hooping
think
like
for
that.
the next 3-4 years, we got to enjoy what we're gonna get, whoever it is. Let him duck it out for freaking. It's possible if you guys start to
It's
win something,
so possible, brother.
then yeah,
I can't
I have
believe
no
he was
doubt,
25th. I mean, obviously it doesn't fucking matter, but like 25th is fucking crazy.
dude. You and
He was
Shine are
in
the
Matt's
exact same
Hummels
person.
He was in Matt's Hummels territory. With all due respect, 25th is
Uh,
insane.
you
But yeah,
guys
who
didn't
cares?
win
Yeah,
anything.
Barca
He
weren't.
won a Super Cup. He won a Super Cup with City. He scored the goal, man. I just don't think there's 24 better players than him in
Dude,
the world.
I don't have anything
I
to
don't
say to
think
you on
there's.
that response.
I don't think. I don't think there's 24 players better than him.
Chelsea fans are all the same.
Nah, bro, that was a
Literally
good
all
one.
the
That was a
same. I
good
already
bar.
heard this in another.
It was a good bar. Again, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And yet, he didn't play in Europe. So you'll take what we can get. But 25th is going to look real crazy in a few years. It's going to look
Bro,
crazy next year.
not when he has like. If he's 5 next year, you're gonna forget all about 25th this
Of
year.
course, dude.
So it doesn't matter.
One more thing. Jorginho walked so Rodri could run.
just
Nah. I'm only.
Anybody that had outrage about Van Dijk not winning it that one year and angry about Vinny winning it should just like also not have a say in any debate.
I feel like Liverpool fans probably feel hard done by. They're probably like, "Oh man, he got it, but Van Dijk didn't." But game's the game, bro. What are you gonna do? Iniesta and Xavi
Okay.
never won one, and
Also
Modric
different.
didn't.
That was a
That's
different year. That was
right.
also not close
It's
in my opinion, but
it's all semantics. It's all
We can
like,
throw
Rodri
in Van Dijk and Netherlands too if we want to start talking about that.
That's
There
fair.
you go.
Yeah, that's
Again,
fair.
I think the bottom line, a deserving guy won that. That's all there is to it.
Right. We're back. We're gonna do a little game. It's gonna be a build a player, and so the premise of the game is we're gonna have 4 or 5 categories. Each of us are gonna draft a player's unique talent trait, and then you can't repeat You have to be correct, is what I'll say. Don't be going all crazy because we got one for each king or each position.
Correct.
Yeah.
Damn
I
it.
do want to see what Frankenstein's that we're coming up with, but let's build a striker. Grant, start with finishing.
Holland.
No. I'll go with Isak.
Give me Jackson.
Jackson.
You took his finisher?
Jackson. I did.
I'll take the big up, but
The play is next. So I will take Hoyland's hold up play.
Is it my turn?
yes.
It's your turn.
There's not a lot to work with. What are you defining as hold up play?
I was thinking the same thing. Like link
Playing
up too.
link up, yeah. Like
All of it.
typical
All of
nine
it.
stuff.
Yeah,
I'll take
all of it.
Xerxes.
I'll take Nkunku.
That's not a
That's
bad
a
one.
fair one. I'll give you that one.
Aerial ability is next, Grant.
Chris Wood.
That was totally mine, damn it.
I will take Ollie Watkins.
That's valid.
This is
There's only one choice left, in my opinion. Two, maybe.
me.
It was between him or Fulkrug for me, for
Okay,
your
cool.
options.
Fulkrug.
So.
Forgot about Fulkrug already. Coast.
This is the last one. Wow, we really I really burned out all
During
of
this
the
list. Yep.
Ate
Yep.
him up.
I've got a few ideas, but it's not great.
Do I get to go first?
No, Dylan again.
Oh, I get to go first. Give me Darwin Núñez.
I get to go first. Give me. Yeah, give me Rudders. Regina Reuters. Speed.
Or we give is he a 10? Or a striker? Is he a striker?
It's in Cuckoo.
Technically is a striker.
Fine.
And he's being
I
played
did.
at the 10. Your
Yeah,
guy's technically a 10 and he's being played at the striker. So if we're gonna split hairs.
Yeah, fair enough. Pace striker. Not much to work with here.
I think I know who you're gonna pick.
This is really bad actually. Do I do something stupid? I'll go Evan Ferguson. I don't think his pace is the best, but he definitely has decent enough pace. I think he has good pace. He's not one of the quickest in the league, but it's good pace.
People are gonna roast mine, and I know it because I put Jackson's finishing, but he has 6 goals this year in 9 matches.
His finishing's been really good this year.
Been really good, but people are only gonna think of the clip of him missing it sideways, and they're gonna think my guy's terrible.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots, mate. They're fucking
Dylan
idiots.
Shout also might get me in trouble, but he's been really good the last
Dude.
couple weeks.
Wait, was
I
that
would
the
have
last
switched
one?
them. I would have switched them personally.
Was there only 4? We're
Yeah.
done.
The last one.
Yeah,
That was the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I would've
I
switched Jackson
Duran
and
for
Hoyland.
finishing.
But he
Who
said
did we take
Duran
for
for-
finishing.
I took
Well, yeah.
Jackson.
I would've
Jackson.
taken-
Who did I take? I don't remember.
You took Isak, and then Grant took Holland.
Okay, that's
Duran,
fine. These are
being
fine.
one of our favorite players and not getting on that is pretty.
I know. It's so
Well, I mean,
stupid.
I wouldn't put him anywhere else. I don't know, in terms of like the other qualities. I would have switched Jackson and Hoyland for you. I think that makes him a much better player.
Maybe.
Hoyland's finishing and Jackson's link up.
That may have been a little better.
It happens. On the
So this one we're gonna go. Grant me Mila. Grant, you started the last one.
yeah. Okay.
Mila, me.
This is
Grant.
wingers.
Yes. Okay. Want you guys or let's build. I'm gonna start that over. Let's build a Premier League winger, starting with crossing.
Damn. Starting with crossing. Give me a sec. Oh, damn. Give me Bowen.
I just threw up in my mouth.
I don't know
Bowen.
yet. I'm still looking around.
Nope, that's locked in.
Bowen is
No.
locked in.
Bowen.
We're not letting you go with anything else. All right, Grant. Or is it me? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
me. I don't want to have anyone else take. I'm taking Bukayo Saka's crossing.
I was
Ooh.
gonna go Neto anyways, because Neto does it with both feet. We're gonna go Pedro Neto's crossing.
Dribbling is next.
Dribbling.
Oh, easy.
See, like I could be like a complete tool and pick Sancho, but I'm not gonna do that because that's poor.
Wait.
Just building Chelsea.
Dribbling? Yeah, no, it's dead. Ooh, which city winger am I gonna take? We'll go Doku. Doku's dribbling.
Well, it's gotten a little tougher. Give me Marcus Rashford's dribbling.
I'll take Jaden Philogene's dribbling.
Cold reference.
English
Shout.
beast I'm building over here.
Shout.
I'm not mad
The
at
next part is shooting.
Winger shooting. Gavardio.
that. It's actually a shout.
Dude, you're gonna mess this up, aren't you?
Huh?
You're gonna mess
I
this
might.
up,
Just
aren't
to do
you?
that.
Give me Salah.
I see you
Jeez,
fucking-
dang it!
you
I was
fucked
about to
it,
say you
Dylan.
about to stink
Yeah,
up the
yeah,
gaff, huh?
I was trying to see if there was anyone that was like comparable before I threw it out there, but there's really not.
How to use Palmer?
No, he hasn't played as a winger this whole season. That's not
He
true.
played
fine.
at the left wing, like last game, didn't he?
Ah, he was a
Or
10.
2 games
He was a
ago.
10. He was
It's
playing
fine.
on
It's
the
fine.
left half
It's fine.
post.
It's fine.
Mm.
Give me human son.
See, this would have been an acceptable
Fine.
Jared Bowen shot.
What's the next one?
This would have been.
Well, Grant's still got to pick his guy.
You have no Bowen.
Matoma.
We'll finish off with pace.
Madrid.
I'd take Adama Traore.
That'll work.
I'll take healthy Chiesa.
Does that
Chiesa.
Not injured, obviously. He's still fast when he's not injured.
No Timo shout there. Nobody wanted to sneak in a Timo.
Dude, he's not
Is
even
he a
a winger
winger?
anymore either, bro. Yes, he's absolutely not a striker.
Yeah. Mila's Bowen shout really made his Frankenstein character.
It's
Never
so
seen
left
Bowen
field.
cross the ball once. Never seen him cross the ball one time in my entire life.
It's perfect. It's perfect. You guys are freak and I love it.
That's fair. Alright. This one will go. Have you been in the middle yet?
No.
Okay. I'll start Mila in the Grant in the middle, and then Mila at the end. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Midfielders. All right. So let's build a dream Premier League midfielder, starting with creativity. I will take Cold Palmer.
Can I pass?
Oh, you can do what we all want you to do
Yeah,
here.
I know. I'll go Odegaard.
Give me KDB.
No,
Damn it, Grant.
I'm here to ruin things.
Mila
Ronaldo.
on the turn passing.
Wait,
No, just passing. He just
Okay,
said
I
on
was
his
like-
turn,
Sorry,
trying to
you're
confuse you.
passing. Who do I want to go with? Out of I'll take Gundo's passing.
You're such a homer. I'm gonna take Enzo Fernandez's passing.
such a homer. I'm gonna take Bruno Fernandez's passing. Okay, so then I am going with defending. Give me Caicedo.
Looks like I gotta go Lavia.
Really would have gone all Chelsea if you could. It really would have been
Honestly,
Palmer.
midfield. I can build the perfect midfielder, to be fair. Oh, fuck. Yeah, we'll go Lavia.
I'll take Onana.
He's been hurt lately. I forgot.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Foden.
No one said it yet. I'm going to take Roger.
Was thinking about that. Tielemans.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Then I'll finish off this one with dribbling and me Rogers, Morgan Rogers.
As a
Hmm.
I really took Odegaard's creativity over Kevin De Bruyne.
Such an agenda.
Damn. None of these guys can really dribble. Who's good at keeping?
Harney Chukwuemeka.
Take Bowen here if you want.
No.
Oh, you can take João. You can take João
No, I
Felix.
can't.
You can take João Felix. Paqueta.
Who? Damn.
I'm gonna have to push for an answer.
I'm blanking so hard. Dribbling? All the good guys are gone. I'll take Daichi Kamada. Fuck it.
Hell yeah.
Let's move on to fullbacks. We'll go Mila me. That sounds right. Let's build a fantasy fullback from the Premier League, starting with passing.
Trent.
That's the obvious one. You kind of have to take him.
That'll work.
I take Bukayo Saka. No, give me Matson.
You've ruined my plans. Give me 1 second.
I can't locking that in.
Give me Kadioglu.
Oh, and next is pace.
Go with Doggy. I forgot I should have taken someone else.
Yeah, I got you, Mila. Don't worry.
I have no idea who you guys are talking about. I would have
I
taken
know.
Udogi as well.
No, for passing, I should have chose someone else.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Jeez, give me Anthony Robinson.
For pace, I'm gonna go Gustav. He's pretty fast.
Next
We'll
one,
take it.
Grant, is defending.
Reece James.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Look at us.
Gavardio.
Guess that. Oh, well played.
The last one is versatility. Their ability to do not only fullback defensive roles, but they're able to go in the midfield or out wide.
Mazraoui.
Really good shout. Dalot.
Oh, that's good too. There's one more. Underrated.
Backs are just doing everything, so it doesn't. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Renato Vega.
Oh.
Center back, left back, DM, 10, everything.
We could have. You probably could have gone with Rico there
could have
too.
been squeezed in
Yeah.
there.
Rico
Yeah.
absolutely could have.
Cucurella plays in multiple positions.
But I'd
Rico
much rather
more so,
pick.
for sure. Rico,
Much rather pick
more
Rico
so.
than Cucurella.
I'm just saying fullbacks who play multiple roles. But yeah, Rico, yeah, dude, big howler. Whatever. I got my agenda in, and Mila made a good one. That was funny.
Make a
So
funny.
you clip Mila.
I'm gonna do center backs. We'll go. I'll start just in the middle, Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, me, Mila, you.
Lovely.
Let's build the Premier League center back. With me, I'm gonna take Virgil van Dijk.
Oh,
Give me Ruben Dish.
there go my top two options.
Grant, Ariel.
Dan Burn.
I'm in the middle. Apologies. Aerial ability? John Bonestone.
Me, Delict. XG in the Premier League so far from center backs. He hasn't finished, but the most XG, which means he's getting on target.
We're expecting him.
Q is next. Me, say Saliba, but that clearly isn't true. Red card merchant.
Yeah, probably
Get it.
DeSassi if you want to go French.
Yeah, give me Saliba.
I gotta look around real quick.
Play the elevator music. 5.
I don't want to take up any of these people. Is the thing. I want to come back.
3.
Give me Konsa's IQ.
Konsa?
Says I
Yeah, I
okay.
can play multiple position. He
Okay.
plays knows the back line pretty well.
For IQ, I will go with Manuel Akanji.
It's also a good one for the same reasons.
Yeah, smart
You
lad.
Grant passing.
Colwood.
Fuckers, so quick. Why?
I'll say off camera.
Center back passing. Let's see. I'll just go with okay.
Me, Fabian Scher.
Fair enough.
We didn't have striking in here.
And the last one is aggression. I'm taking Romero.
I like it.
Take Gabriel.
I'm going to take Morella.
There may have been a trend there in aggression. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but
Romero's left foot?
also love to put Darwin at that in the aggression
He's
pile.
been defending really well. He's been tracking back and making plays.
Whether it's fans in the stands or against opponents, he's doing great.
No.
All right. The last one, you'll start. I'll go in, or no, Grant. Have you started one more recently?
I've only started once.
Mila,
Yeah,
you start.
Yeah.
I'll go in the middle. Grant at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, just at the end.
You're in the middle.
You're at the end.
Grant in the middle.
At the end. Okay. Last one is goalkeepers. Build a fantasy Premier League goalkeeper, starting with shot stopping.
Shot stopping. I will go with Raya.
That's my turn, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we'll go Allison there. Yeah, for shot stopping.
Vicario. Turn here. I've got distribution. Give me Onana.
I just real exciting picks for me.
Try to make a more boring player.
Gavin Bazunu.
You just knew that was coming.
The city rondos.
Oh, you just
They're
knew that
gonna
was
come in
coming.
handy. Is he still with them?
I have no idea. Did you? That's him? That's actually your pick?
Dude,
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Your next one is craziness.
You know he was doing rondos. Oh, I get to start too?
Craziness.
Beautiful, Emmy.
This was so good.
I didn't need Pickford yelling at the back line after every shot attempt, just screaming at somebody.
Yeah.
I love it.
Genuinely, there's no other crazy goalkeepers, really.
Kepa.
Crazy stupid.
He's crazy levels of dog shit.
Yeah, fuck it. Give me Kepa.
You just destroyed.
Should have went Dean Henderson before you went Kepa, but I digress.
Oh, I don't know. He's not that crazy to me.
Okay.
He literally fought a manager. Refused to come on the pitch.
I think delusional might be the better word than crazy, but
hey, what's against the opponent or against his own team? He's still a crazy person in my eyes.
Sure.
And he went to Madrid. And
Love
then
that.
I guess I'll on the last turn here about claiming. Really, give me Pope.
Yeah.
Damn it.
See, Sanchez is actually decent at claiming, but I am not putting him on this list in any capacity for my own sake. You know what? We're gonna go Ortega. I've seen him come claim a few crosses.
Yeah, I'm never watching my fucking goalies to see if they're claiming shit. Give me Leno.
Oh, awesome. That's the end of
I can't wait to see those guys. I want to see those players. Dylan, if you have the ability, see if you can get like the players like all mashed up as well. You know what I'm saying? Like
gonna be a disgusting Frankensteins of some of these. There were some ridiculous shouts there. I still can't believe you said Bowen for crossing. I haven't been able to let that go.
Dude.
It was just so funny, bro. I didn't see that coming. I thought
I didn't either. It was just the first name that came into my head, and I was like half joking.
Bowen.
Man, there's definitely some howlers in there. That one just caught me off guard because I'd never thought of Bowen and crossing in the same sentence before.
He has 601 crosses in the Premier.
Oh, Dylan, you're a casual, Dylan.
That's what that. I'd never seen it. I
mean, he plays for West Ham.
I'm sure that's all time. Also, let's be honest.
He's definitely crossing the ball. He's got Mikel Antonio in there.
Dude, he's a classic winger, like midfielder, wide midfielder. I feel like he has to cross the ball decently.
Yeah, no, he definitely crosses the ball. But West Ham
plays the game, like I feel like he has. I'm gonna look at football or footbin.
He's done Savinha there.
Yeah, he's got a good cross.
Actually, he does have good delivery.
Decent.
Yeah, I think my players are the best though.
Bowen.
Let's put for finishing. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I should have put Horo for passing on fullbacks.
That's the name I thought you were going for. I was gonna put him for pace, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Bowen's actually. I'm gonna rank
Bowen's a
the
good
FIFA players.
Bowen
I'm ranking them by crossing though.
It was just funny though. It was just like,
I know, I understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not the first one that comes to mind when I think of crossing.
I would have went probably Saka if I had first choice for crossing.
That's all right. A long episode, but a fun one. I really enjoyed that. So, it's been Clash of Clubs. This was episode 11, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing. That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.